For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Outwalls Camping and Leisure with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a tutorial video on how to take down a poled tunnel tent. So what I've got here is the Kampa Hailing 4. Me and my colleague Chris here are going to show you the best way to pack it down and get all of that air in, get it back in the bag with room to spare. So first thing first is making sure obviously things like the doors are left open so the air can escape. When you've got a sewn in ground sheet, the main problem really is that the air gets trapped and you can't really get out of it anywhere because it's so well sealed up. So first thing we'll do is open the front door, like so, that way the air can actually quite happily get out. And things, even like the inner tent doors, leave them sort of fairly done, sort of about 3/4 open, that way the air can actually escape as well. So now we've done that, really it's a case of unpegging all the guy ropes. What we're going to do is leave the main 4 corners of the tent pegged in, plus all the front guy rope just to keep it shape. So even if you get a bit of a wind, it's still got to stop it. You can, if you want to be really thorough, actually just do the guy ropes up and sort of just make it like a really neat job. Just to save you watching me do that for best part of 10 minutes, we're not going to do that at all. So we'll naturally get a bit more of a tangle. But like I said, it just makes that extra bit of quickness when taking it down. So we're taking out all of the main sort of guy rope pegs. Like I said, just leave the main 4 corners of the actual tent. So like, as you still see now, it is pretty much freestanding. One thing you will notice when you have the wind sort of coming down throughout the tent and into the opening, it tends to balloon up. So one thing to note is you, if need be, flip the tent around once you've packed it down, taking the poles out. That way the air is then pushing the excess air out of the front door rather than pulling it in the front door. So that's something you can look at, but we'll have a look how we fare in a minute. Naturally, what we're going to try and do is push all the air out towards the front door like we've been saying. So when we're taking it down, we're taking the poles out from the back towards the front, yet again helping the air push out the front door and not trapping it anywhere. So if we unclip the back poles, and then we'll just take it out. If I push it to you, Chris. So this is where sort of working as a team really comes handy. So it's just a case of obviously working your way forward. So naturally, I said if there's no wind, that's going to push down and help it here. Because the air is going that side, we're going to bear with it for the time being. What we'll probably most likely do is, once we remove the pegs, is rotate it round so the air is pushing it out, like I said. So, next pole. Perfect. Like I said, we'll leave that front door open. You can see the air quite happily escaping and the tail off you got there. So we'll take the next pole out. Yeah. So yeah, just by me pulling the pole, pushing the pole towards Chris. If you want to be really fancy, what you can do is sort of flex the pole and push through, but that's a bit of a technique you can sort of learn after time. So finally, last but not least, this last pole at the front. There we go. So what we now do is remove basically the rest of the pegs. So and like I said, this is where the point where if you do the guy ropes up neat and tidily, It just means it doesn't sort of make it a bit of a mess on the outside. So I said what we're going to do now is we're probably going to rotate it round so the door is actually facing the front, that way the wind's not blowing air inside of it. So around it goes. So what I might just do is just put a peg in there just for a second just to hold it down. So yeah, again, the wind's now assisting us by pushing the air out. What we probably will do is now, is because you've got the front door and the sort of side door, we're going to sort of fold it from about a bag-shaped width, starting from this side towards that side door, and then finally rolling it from the back towards the front, so everything's going out that front door. So again, when leaving the doors open, that's why it's so paramount. Because the canopy hasn't got a sewn in part, we'll just flip this over the top. Just so we're just then dealing with a sewn in ground sheet, it makes it easier to fold and manage really. So still sort of peg that corner, keep it down, but we can move across. So like I said, about a bag-shaped width. Alternatively, if you get the poles, pop them down the side, it gives you a really good indication of how wide it needs to be. But one thing we like to do is sort of go over the top and just push the air out. Just forcing the air out that front door. Alternatively, it's a great idea to get your kids involved, whether they want to sort of do rolls, teddy bear rolls or anything on that. Certainly makes them, you know, get involved. And it really works effectively, to be fair. God, I'm dizzy now. Whew. So you can see how much air can quite easily get trapped, and like I said, by using, if you use any other method, you would probably struggle to get it back inside the bag. So the last bit will just flip over nice and easily. What we'll do now is I'll grab the poles, we'll whack them in the pole bag, start that, it's something to wrap it around then. Just makes it easier to sort of compress and get a good, nice, tight feel. Thank you. Look at that, perfect. So straight away that's a good indication it's going to fit back in the bag. So I said, fold it, roll it up. You want to keep your weight sort of over the top, pushing the air out. And even so, you can see how much air is still quite left in there as well, by giving it a nice sort of tight roll. And you chuck a tie under it just to keep it all just so. Perfect. I'm more than happy to just throw the bag over the top. Yeah, you have plenty of room. So back in the room with a bit of room to spare as well, which is pretty good going. So I said by using that method, you can use it on pretty much any tent, sort of tunnel tent, pole to get rid of, and you have no problems getting it back in the bag. But in essence, really, that is the best way to pack up your tunnel tent.